Good evening. My name is Thurman Greco, and this show is called Let's Live with Thurman Greco, and it's coming to you from scenic downtown Woodstock, New York, and from our projection studio in downtown Woodstock, New York. And I have a really wonderful guest this evening who brings some custom-made essential oil blends to the show. So my quest now is, will you please introduce yourself and tell people who you are and what you have?
Sure, Thurman, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Ryan. I moved to Palinville, New York about a year ago from Long Island. And so I have been at the Woodstock Mowers Market for 2 times, and I'm hoping to be on for the rest of the season on Sundays. And what I offer is essential oil elixir blends. They are reiki charged, and each of them attribute to a certain quality. So this one I have here is for calming and relaxation. This one is for abundance and prosperity. This one is for love and sensuality. This one is for general healing. And this one is for grounding. So when I select the oils that I use, I try to attribute them to the quality that I'm seeking to invoke. And I'll use crystal chips as well in them. I typically take my tuning fork, I'll charge the water, and I'll visualize, I'm sending the love, I'm sending the healing inside of it. And yeah, I use distilled water. The oils are pure and organic, and witch hazel to dilute it. And it comes out great. And what I love about the spray bottles too is it's diluted enough to where you can spray it on your skin and it won't irritate it. And they also last forever. 6 months later, the bottle's still going to be halfway full. So I've been working on these over the winter and the spring, and I'm just very excited to be able to share it, and more importantly, just meet people and have conversations and make connections. That's what's been really awesome the last 2 times that I've been at the market, and I'm looking forward to making more connections.
Ryan, is there a business name that goes with this?
So that's in the making. It's at the very beginning stages. What I eventually would like to turn it into, and then the labels would represent that also, is the prismatic piper. That's a name that I sort of have been toggling with myself for a while. It's based off of a Magic the Gathering card, which is, for those of you that know, a card game. And basically it depicts a man that's sort of in the ocean, and he's playing the flute and sort of draws himself out of the ocean to give it form. And as he's playing it, it reflects rainbow light out. And basically what the card entails is whatever color you choose, the prismatic piper becomes that color. So what that means to me is that I try to keep my channel, my energy field clear like a prism, so that others are able to see themselves through me. And so that we're able to remember, the God, the universe that exists inside of all of us, that pure divine love and source.
How did you find this career field? How did you find this? Or how did this find you? I don't...
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a very good question that I don't even know exactly where it began. There's a lot of me, and this is, every now and then there's something within me that tries to bring forth and, channel through me. And this has been what has stuck the most, is between Reiki, because it's really just the realization that we are Reiki, we are pure spirit, we are, channels for the divine, and everything else is just a conduit of that. So how did it begin? I'd love to say it was, it was a pleasant introduction, but sometimes we learn through love and light, and we learn through, lessons where we experienced not so much of that. So I sort of was brought to it, realizing who I am and what I entail by some situations, that learning what I wasn't, if that makes sense.
Well, that's an amazing story, actually, because when you think about it, you learn to do this through discovering what you're not.
Right.
So the leftovers of the what you are not is this collection of beautiful oils. Yeah, okay. So I love the one that's healing. So
That's my favorite as well.
is it really?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's luscious. Well, everything needs healing. We all need healing, especially this planet needs healing. So if you can spread a little bit of healing around, then you're helping not only the people but the planet. So you have been coming to Mowers Meadow. Now, are you at Mowers Meadow by yourself? Do you have a booth by yourself? What is the deal?
Yeah, so it is a booth by myself. My friend David was there the first day to help out, and he will, sporadically be there as well. He is wonderful. I mentioned how the prism is like a clear channel to reflect, the love that exists inside of all of us. He is the reflection in my life.
Well, the thing is that I work my booth by myself. Most of the booths have one person, really.
Yeah.
Once you realize what you're getting, one person is really enough, because you can only talk to one person at a time. But this is very interesting. Now, do you practice Reiki at your booth?
So the first two times I haven't. I sort of kind of wanted to, gauge, meet people and be able to be as present as possible, like meeting everybody. And now that I'm a little bit more settled, I would like to start possibly, offering pop-up, in a pop-up booth, 5-10 minute chair healing and whatnot.
Oh, I think you can do healing. Last year, I had in my booth, I invited a Reiki practitioner to come, and she was there every day, and we did fine. You can do both. And the idea is just to schedule it. And if you're not busy, then you just put a sign on your table which says, Reiki session over at what time, and then it's just over. And people are happy. And if you can get a booth that's in the shade, then it's going to, and October's coming, so it's going to be cool anyway. Yeah. So that'll be fun. And I'm really excited about you doing Reiki, because when I started out this year, I was looking for a Reiki practitioner, and after a while I gave up. And I just quit bothering with it. So now you're there. And if you have a sign that says Reiki practitioner, people may not know what it is, but then again, they can ask you, so it works out really well.
Yeah, and I like to incorporate sound healing as well into my work. So I actually have over here a clear quartz prism. I could take it out in a second here. And this is wonderful above the crown. I find, let's see, it is very delicate.
Oh my goodness, where did you find this?
This I bought online, and it has been one of the most wonderful purges in my life. For whatever reason, I don't know why, when you hit it above the crown, it starts to move in certain ways, and I visualize just pure rainbow fire, rainbow light, spirit water, and it's just funneling, circling. It's clearing the channel from the divine to bring it down through you. And those that I've, practiced it on, they tell me immediately you feel it. Immediately they feel more grounded, more at peace, more at ease, and almost seeing, a kaleidoscope of the light channeling through them.
Where do you use this on people while you're in the flea market?
I have not yet, but that's what I was intending on when I do have the pop-up booth.
And how often, how long does a session take?
You'll start feeling it immediately. I was thinking to keep it short, especially since I don't have a table. It would be more chair, 10 minutes, and then to be able to talk and reflect about like the internal experience that people are having, because that's really where the healing comes also, is people being able to like be in tune with their inner experience and understand and be able to express like what's going on. Because I think at this point everybody feels that there's more, and and that everything is energy, but some don't know how to articulate it or express it, or maybe they're surrounded by environments where it's a little bit more fast paced, so they're not encouraged to talk about their internal experience. So I love talking about it, and just to be there to provide that space for others to be able to channel what's happening inside of them.
And this is called a quartz crystal?
Yes, I believe it's 99.8 silicone quartz it's made out of.
And you found it on the computer, and it has come to you in that little purple box.
Yes.
Did you have it at the Did you have it at the flea market yet?
It's been in my car. I did actually take it out. I believe it was last time, and one of a woman who had a booth next to mine, who's wonderful as well. I did play it over her head, and she was like, wow.
Oh my goodness. So now you not only have the essential oils, but you have the quartz crystal as well.
Yes.
And you have Reiki.
Yes, and I do also offer crystals. My personal collection of crystals, which is over 500. I offer that at my booth as well. We keep what we have by giving it away. So as much as I love them, it's if somebody is drawn to them.
You have a selection of 500 crystals?
Yes.
Where did you find 500 crystals?
Over the course of my life, at all different places. When I for the most part, they've been at sporadic stores back on Long Island, and when I walk into a store, I just immediately, I'll look around and I'll see there's one that speaks to me, and I feel it. Like it's always my left hand, and then it just like vibrates through me. I'm like, okay, that's that one. Or there's others where I'll look at them and I'll see an entire universe inside of it. Like I could see, the geometrical patterns that, of that spirit that's been crystallized in the form of that stone. So it helps with visualizing. It helps with just remembering that we are spirit. It's almost like a tool or a symbol to remember that we're here for a little while, and but we are eternal spirits. So.
Oh, that is a wonderful thing. So when somebody comes to your booth, because the next time we're open is Saturday. I checked in the weather. There's no rain for Saturday or Sunday. So when people when they look for your booth on Saturday and Sunday, they are going to find 500 crystals?
Including the ones that I have multiple of. So
yeah.
I have multiple rose quartz, multiple lapis, but I do have a very large selection.
So we're going to find a tabletop of crystals, and we're going to find this gorgeous thing, and we're going to find some homemade, special made essential oils. And how did you figure out how to make these?
So I really was just, it was an idea that I had before I knew that others were really doing, like, that it's something that could be done. And I tend to, with oils, I do love to, sniff them but when they're on my skin, sometimes it could be a little irritating. So the sprays are a really good opportunity to be able to, spray them on the skin with it diluted enough to where it doesn't irritate. So I kind of just wanted to figure out how to do that. And then after, I figured out what works and what doesn't, it was fun. Like I wanted to keep figuring out like different concoctions and, like what works and what doesn't. And then to add the stones, the crystal chips in them also. And, the visualizing, the sending the love, the reiki.
Well, when you talk about having crystal chips, it says rose quartz and amethyst. What does a rose quartz chip look like? Rose petals and rose quartz, that's jasmine.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is citrine. So you've got rose petals in there. Are they dried first? What is the deal?
So the rose petals, that is, this is referring to the love blend with jasmine. That is the only one that has a floral note to it. I happened to have a rose at my house there, and just that specific day that I was making the love blend, it spoke to me, and I just understood it belongs in there. So going forward, I might try to incorporate more floral, herbs and blends in the bottles as well. But that is the only one that has it, the rose petals and the love blend.
That is amazing. And you made these, and they're water-based.
Mm-hmm. Distilled water.
Because my oldest daughter does a lot with aromatherapy and essential oils. And she said that is the most difficult to do of all of the blends when you start putting them in water. And here they are perfectly blended. And they smell fabulous.
Thank you.
Ooh, and abundance. And there's one here for abundance. How did you come up with that one?
So that one, I actually started making those, it was during Leo season recently, and it was during the Lionsgate portal, and I believe it was the full moon in Leo, and I just felt a very heightened energy. It was a very bright, sunny energy, and that's when I knew that was the blend that I was going to figure out how to make. And so I try not to force it. I kind of let it come to me, and I had I just see what I have available, and then I stop, I listen, and then it's almost like my mind shuts off, and it just sort of puts it in, spirit puts it in for me, and then I just funnel the energy in, channel it in.
Because what you have said indicates to me that not only are you including the air, but you're including the season. You've got the astrology of this. Is that correct?
Yes.
So not only do you have this essential blend, but when it was made is important.
Yeah, and thank you for reminding me of that, because until I just said that now and you said it back to me, I actually didn't even realize that until it, in hindsight, it does always make sense.
They need another label on top of them. First of all, it needs a table that has your name and telephone number. But second of all, an essential blend that has been manufactured or that has been assembled, because you're not manufacturing it, you're assembling it at a special time when the moon and the sun are in alignment as well as the other planets, that makes these much more powerful to
Absolutely.
certain people.
Yeah.
And I would assume, I mean, they're sitting there they're very demurely sitting there, and they must be powerhouses. Yeah,
I
they
would tend
must
to
be.
agree.
Yeah. Wow. So, and I just tried an abundance, and and I can tell if I try anymore, I'm going to be somewhere else. And this is frankincense. This is, this has got blue agate in it, and it's frankincense and lavender, and it's calming and relaxing. I tell you, after this week, I'm going to need, and grounding, langling and cedar wood and frankincense. And you know, I've got my grandpuppy Lollipop is coming tomorrow. And there's so many things coming. So would you just spray these in the air, or would you actually spray, like I've been spraying them on my hand, and I can tell what they are, but I mean, is that what you do with them, or would you spray them in the air? What would you do with them?
Yeah, so that is entirely up to you in general, since they are filled with the energy, especially, you know, the healing one or the grounding one. That could be great to spread it to, you know, spread in a room. The abundance one could be great to, you know, a place of work or a place of, you know, where you're trying to draw abundance, an area you're trying to draw abundance into your life, or more resources. That, you know, it could be on objects, the area, as well as just around the aura or directly on the skin, whatever, you know, really whatever you choose.
When did you first decide that you could do this?
The day that it stopped becoming a thought, and I allowed myself to
The day
to go
it
about
stopped becoming a thought. When did it become, when did it become a thought?
When did it become a thought? That's a good question. I want to say back on Long Island, about it, you know, about a year and a half ago, when I was there. You know, the nature of living on Long Island, I was working a lot. You know, the cost of living is much higher, so it's much more fast paced. So, you know, I was thinking these things, and I wanted to bring about. I just didn't have the time, or and I wasn't in the right energy at the time to be able to really facilitate this. So now, fast forward, I move up to the Hudson Valley here, and it stopped becoming a thought, and it started funneling through my body, because I cleared out everything that was no longer me, and so I was able to become a clear channel to facilitate it, realizing that I have, you know, it's not about how much or having an excess of anything. It's just having knowing that you have the resources that you need, and that's really what true abundance is. It's not an excess of anything.
Now, let's go down, can we go back to the beginning? Where were you, about how old were you when you realized that these things were a possibility for you in the future?
That's a good question.
Has that always been the case for you, or is that happening now?
Well, to go all the way back to childhood, I was always drawn to crystals. I always loved them. The same sort of things that I visualize now, I visualized back then also. But you know, you grow up in certain scenarios, and it could be tough sometimes between like what you know to be true as a child versus, you know, what everybody else is doing. And so when part of me growing up and reclaiming, you know, who I am and whatnot, and remembering, I've been blessed to work with children for the past 6 years, and you know, the children that I work with, they reflect back to me, you know, that the dreamers, the creators, you know, the ones that are close to source. And so I just started to remember again that it is a possibility, and that, there is an unseen world that is just as real as the seen world, and behind all of it is just pure love. So.
Well, the question that comes to me now is, did you go someplace to study these things, or did these things just come to you?
That's an interesting question, because I sort of learn in a backwards way. I sort of live the experience. I've always had the awareness of it, and then later on in life is when I start to put like the name to them, oh, that's that thing that I was feeling, that's that nuance, like there's a name for it, it's a thing. So originally it was just kind of like a pure sort of like swirling spirit, and then as time goes on, like you venture off into the world through trial and error and whatnot. You learn the tangible, how to make it tangible, and so that the rational mind is able to conceptualize of like these abstract concepts and whatnot.
Did you find yourself reading any specific books or going to any specific places for guidance?
Yes, absolutely. So there's a woman, if for anybody who may be watching this that has connections to Long Island, Charmed and Healing is the name of the shop in Belmore, New York. There's my sensei, my Reiki master, Lori McGuire. She's absolutely wonderful. She has guided me through level 1, level 2, and level 3. And this was over the course of about 2 years. I want to say 2022 and 2023.
So what we're coming down to here is Reiki. Yes,
Yeah.
That's what we're coming down to.
Yeah.
Well, Reiki's there for all of us whenever we're ready.
Yeah.
Really, truthfully. It's so interesting to me how when I first started learning about Reiki and connecting in life through Reiki to find, and we didn't talk about that. I mean, Reiki is just there. And I do have a question though. Can I ask a Reiki? I mean, we really shouldn't. But the Reiki story is such a powerful story. It really is. So do you practice Reiki in the midst of all of this?
For the most part, I tend to practice Reiki on myself, on close friends and family, very briefly, because, again, like everything is, if they ask me, I tend to not force I try not to force it, and those that come to me, if they demonstrate that they're ready to receive, then I'm more than happy to serve as a channel. I haven't necessarily put myself out there, partly because I'm still learning, I'm still growing,
Oh, well, 20 years from now, you'll still be learning, right?
Yeah.
I mean, truthfully. I mean, I'm a Reiki master teacher, and I was attuned to Reiki 1 in the early 90s, which is a long time ago, and I am still learning Reiki. And that's one of the wonderful things about Reiki, is you do learn. And I do believe that the underlying road can be Reiki. Mm-hmm. Not that it pulls us in that direction, but if we are going into a direction, it's going to go there with you, yeah. Which is really nice. And I am so hopeful that you will add Reiki to your services at the flea market. And now, do you see yourself as going, as staying in Palinville over the winter now?
Over the winter, definitely.
What do you see yourself doing now to prepare for the next season?
That's a wonderful question that I've been contemplating the last couple of weeks as well. Is now it's really nice to have, the first season under the belt to like experience it, and meet everybody. And then now it's like, okay, this, how can I serve as a better channel, a better outlet, and just to learn more and grow more, especially, up here, the winters get it could be very cold, a lot of snow and whatnot. So I'm looking forward to, as the seasons change, to kind of, as we dwindle down from the light half of the year into the dark half, that's when we go inward and, kind of see what's been buried underneath the surface. And I'm looking forward to see and discover, all that there is left for me to learn and bring about.
Well, that's one of the things that has always interested me about being at the Mowers Meadow Flea Market, is all of the people that are there are very happy with what they've done and what they've got. These are their, we each have our whatever it is, and we've got our tables and we've got our tents and we've got our signs and everything. But everybody's looking forward to going in the winter and coming out with another whatever that they are going to find within themselves in the winter.
Definitely.
Yeah, so we get to rebirth ourselves every year.
Yeah.
And my imagination tells me that one of the things you're going to do is get yourself a table, a massage table over the winter. Yeah, because when you get a massage table, you can do reiki. You can. Of course, this is wonderful for a chair, and this is definitely something. This is a dramatic thing that people can really enjoy at the flea market. And this is, and you've probably not been telling an awful lot of people about it. No. And so hopefully over the winter, you can find out some ways, you can figure out some ways in which you can tell people about these wonderful things that you're doing. These are totally wonderful things.
Thank you.
Yes. And these oils, and get your names, hopefully you can get your name here with a telephone number or something, or a website. Do you have a website? No.
I don't currently. I did have an Etsy shop for a little while that I may get up and running again, but I sort of put that on the back burner once I was at the flea market and whatnot.
Well, you know what? You've got the whole winter now to work on your store for next summer.
Absolutely.
And there's Greg. Have you met Greg? He's he's an older man, but he's about 5 feet tall, and he does the big peace signs. He paints the big peace signs, and he has cast iron wall brackets and things. Greg knows a tremendous amount of things about that you can use. He has a whole storehouse of knowledge that you can use. And he's very, very open. That is another thing about the flea market, the John and Janine Maurer flea market, is any of the people that have a booth at the flea market, you can go up to them and ask them something and they'll answer it. I mean, they will tell you. They are the nicest, the absolute nicest people. And I hope, now did you call John and tell him you're going to be going this next Saturday and Sunday?
I believe I will just be there on Sunday.
Did you call and tell him?
I am booked, yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. And if you're coming on Sunday, I'm going to ask John about it anyway, too. Because he likes to know if you've gotten close to somebody else in the flea market. He is so cute. And the flea market has been open for 50 years.
Yeah.
And when I first went to work and I first got started in the flea market because I was trying to feed the hungry, and I just opened up, put a donation jar on the table at the flea market. And I had no more idea about what to do at a flea market than I had opening, a shop like Macy's or Bloomingdale's or something. I just was not there at all. And he was just he and Janine were so good to me, and always good about all of the things that they have done. So we can look forward to seeing you on Sundays
Yes.
through October. So this is good. If somebody wants to come, and I'm dying, so I'm going to be Sunday, the first thing before you get unpacked. I've got to, up here. This is called the quartz,
Pyramid.
the quartz pyramid. I'm very attracted to that thing, and I don't know why, because all kinds of people have put things in front of me, and they just kind of went by. And that one, for some reason, does have an attraction. And these oils, when Jeanette told me that the worst challenge that she had with essential oils was trying to put them into distilled water. It was really hard for her. And so here you just did it, with no thought, rhyme, reason, or anything else, just within yourself. How old were you when you realized that you were a very distinct child? You had to have thought this out as a child, not as an adult. That there was one of you, and you were unique. How old were you when you got a hold of that?
When I first got a hold, or when I remembered it again?
Okay, when you remembered it.
When I remembered it again, I want to say probably right about after college, when, all like
But what about the first time?
the first time, that's just our natural state. When when I'm looking back 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, when it's obviously not realized at that time, because you just are close to source at that point. But when did I realize that things were a little different, that I was a little different from everybody else, or it was difficult for me to be in large groups at times, or because I felt a little different than everybody else? Probably about 10 or 11 years old. And then from that point, you go through you forget a little bit.
But when did your mother tell you that she noticed that you had some special talents? Maybe she didn't tell you. Maybe you didn't ask her.
In hindsight, she tells me. At the time, I don't remember specifically.
But she did tell you that in hindsight,
Yeah.
you were...
Yeah.
Yeah, she had to know. By the time you were 1.5 or 2 years old, she had to know. You cannot have a 2-year-old child without knowing that kind of a character, without knowing that this was going to surface in some way.
Yeah, well,
That's-
when I was, I believe I was 1.5, I had just started walking, and my mom was folding clothes in the dining room table, and I was standing holding the staircase, and I looked up, and she told me, I said, Nana, my grandmother who passed away before I was born, and my mom was like, what did you say, Ryan? And then I looked at my mother, whose name is Linda, and I said, hi, Lynn. And that was always what my Nana had referred to my mother as, Lynn. And, as a 1.5-year-old, you never really hear that for your mother. So, and then right after that, I had looked back up, and then I started to get teary-eyed and, sad, and I said, bye, Nana.
Yep.
And, so that kind of stuff definitely occurred.
Well, that kind of sensitivity goes into this kind of a bottle. Whatever you call it, it went into this bottle. And so your mother had that chimed out by the time you were 1.5 or 2 years old. As did you. But at that age, you couldn't really say that much about it. But I do know that can happen. That does happen. That's how it goes. So you're going to be staying in Palinville in the winter, and you're going to be sharing these oils between then and now. And over the winter, you are also going to be coming up with other things to do at the Mowers Meadow Flea Market.
Absolutely, and maybe even before the end of the fall, I was thinking of looking into how to make a bug spray using essential oil blends and whatnot, all natural, like natural bug repellents, and then come next year, maybe some salves, some soaps. We'll see what.
I think a natural bug spray would be wonderful, because ticks are a huge problem in this area.
I've heard, yeah.
No, they are outrageous, and even if you don't think you haven't been, that you think no tick has ever bitten me, that isn't true. You could have been bitten and not know it. So that would be a wonderful thing. And right this minute, I can't think of anybody in the flea market that's selling a natural bug repellent. Nobody has sat down at this table that offers a natural bug repellent. So that is a wonderful thing that you can do. And of course there are other things that'll come they'll come to surface for you as well. And so what are some things that you think that in our lives that two or three things that we can have, that we can follow, or that we can do in our lives that will make life easier for ourselves? I know that isn't normally something that you've thought about, but I know the answer to that in question is definitely in your soul.
Yeah. Well, for starters, I'd say any sort of major action, just make sure that you ground and really sort of weigh the pros and the cons before taking a very important action, because a lot of times I would say whatever's for you, your soul's path, it will be brought about. You'll experience your soul's path. But when things try to get forced a little bit too soon, it could be presented to you in a way in which you might be taking some undesirable things with you, or it might not be the most optimal way in which you could, experience your soul's path. So I would say just to relax and not feel pressured to take action too early, or and just allow life, Reiki, to unfold, your path for you, and as opposed to sort of like forcing things before it's time, because I truly do believe, obviously, that there's a higher path, and that.
So what you're saying is that let whatever is encouraging you to move along, to let it come at the right time. Is that what
Absolutely, yeah.
That's what you're working with, is let it come at its right time.
Absolutely.
Whatever it is. So when somebody has done something and it hasn't quite turned out as well as you would like it to turn out, is that sometimes a problem with doing something too soon or too late?
Well, that's the beauty of life too, is everything is a learning experience. It's about perspective. So if something was brought about, too soon, you're able to, in hindsight, see that, and it's not a one shot or done. Life is constantly unfolding, and there's always opportunities that when you shift your perspective from a negative to a positive, because sometimes it's not always necessarily about the external event. It's about the intent that you put into something that frees up other aspects of you to move forward in a way that maybe you didn't see coming. So, because I didn't see this coming. My rational mind didn't see it coming.
What?
Being here, you know.
Oh,
talking,
listen, nobody,
even just,
nobody that has come to this show from the flea market has seen anything happen. No. Nobody. If they did, they wouldn't come. That I can tell you.
So I would just say if something doesn't turn out exactly how you think it should, it's easy to kind of like get into a defeatist mindset or think, oh, I failed, but really it's just whatever intent that you give, it comes back to you in some way, shape, or form, and everything is a learning experience. It's, you know, and it's the higher mind. It's really what we're seeking is the feeling of you know, coming back home into our wholeness. But the rational mind doesn't always know the best way or exactly what that will look like. So if it doesn't look exactly how you think it should, it's probably because you're being rerouted to, you know, like your true soul's path. So I would just say allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling, but don't get discouraged if things aren't looking exactly how you thought it would at a certain time frame that you thought it would.
Okay. So that is a thought that we can take with us for the week, and we can all enjoy the flea market this Sunday.
Absolutely.
What are some of the nice things that you learned at the flea? What is a surprise that you found at the flea market?
The surprise, I'd say, is just how naturally it came. You know, like like how natural it comes. Like that, you know, when you're around new people or like you enter a new environment, at times it could be almost like a lot of energies, and you know, you're sort of like feeling out. And you might feel a little uncomfortable at first. It was just kind of like, oh, hey, like I don't even remember like the first thing that I said to you or you said to me. It was just kind of like it just like came natural. Like
everybody.
I didn't feel like I
nice.
had to like force something or anything.
No.
It just conversations flowed naturally, and yeah.
Yeah, everybody was so nice. That is one of the sincere things about that flea market. Is those people are nice. They are nice. People stay at the flea market because they are nice.
Yeah, it's been both days that I've been there have been such a wonderful, pleasant experience to where even if I walked away with not making anything, like it was still, you know, just the fact to be there, it's a lovely way to spend a Sunday afternoon. So.
It's true. Last Sunday, I was unable to be in the flea market, and I was so bummed because I couldn't be. I had planned to be, and my car completely broke down Saturday evening just before closing time. Just completely broke down. It was a big mess. It involved a tow truck and everything. You didn't go last Saturday, so you escaped that. But the tow truck kid came and you know, got it going again, and then it was a mess. So I couldn't be there on Sunday, but it's okay. It's okay. So I think, what else do we have to say? We know that that's going to be available next Sunday.
Yes.
We know that these sprays are going to be available.
Yes.
And are you going to be at the flea market by yourself?
More than likely.
More than likely you will be by yourself. Well, hopefully you can get something in the shade as well. And I will be there by myself as well, and enjoying every moment.
Absolutely.
And Miss Ellen, I think that is it for the show. We have had so much fun here tonight, and I am always continually surprised And thank you so much. Listen, quickly, tell people your name so
Sure.
they'll know who to ask for.
Sure. My name is Ryan Toomey.
We got it. Thank you, Miss Ellen. We enjoyed this
Thank you
so
very much.
much.
This has been awesome.
Thank you.
It has been awesome.